you call? Let me tell you who can you call, like, and the second verse especially. Like, the thing is about, like, when you do the type of music I do, you're expected to be, oh, you need to be righteous and you need to be perfect and be a image of perfection. But it's like I'm a man and I make enough mistakes. Like, I'm a man of this world, and there's enough stuff I go through, and there's enough things I feel that maybe you would say, oh, you shouldn't sing about. But it's like, if I don't hear myself express it, if I don't hear it, my words, then how do I improve? So like that verse when I say, I've seen empires fall and wither down to dust, and all the money in the world, it could not lift them up. The most brilliant of ornaments crumble down to rust, because we put with faith in lust and disregard the trust. Hell, I know the rush. I've had the feeling take me over. The power in my hand when all the band over my shoulder. You know what I mean? Like you feel like, oh, you have this. You know when you're standing in front of, like, Woodstock, 300,000 people, and your brother's behind you playing music, and you have this mic in your hand, and you say yeah, and you hear 300,000 people say yeah, like, it will do something to you if you're not careful, you know? The bands are more where am I? I'm on the rush, you know, the feeling take me over, the power in the hand, all the band over my shoulder. The bands of money coming in will change the ones around you. Be wise, you know, because it cannot stop you getting older. But still, like, even knowing all of that, but still, I admit that I get caught up in the game. I saw the legends do it, naturally I did the same. So I'm rolling around the city, Miss Jamaica, they're there with me. Hurt them on my platter, knowing all of this no matter. You know what I mean? And like, that was an influence from watching the Bob documentary and drawing the parallel between his life and my life, and him having... So when I say I saw the legends do it, naturally I did the same. You know what I mean? I saw Bob Marley and doing his life, traveling the world, having the princess of this country and Miss Jamaica rolling around, and you aspire to these things when you're 12, 13 years old because you think this is what success means. And then you see him have something like that at the peak of his career, and then he has to leave the flesh and leave it all behind. So you know that certain things don't really matter, so I had to express stuff like that and be free about them things there. So that's why that song is my favorite song, and I think that what I just did is better than me giving you a performance.
So, questions, I have to do this. I'm sorry, it's Miss Lily's. I represent a lot of beautiful ladies, and a lot of them have asked me. I ain't gonna point or say anything. They want to know if there's a little love floating around in your heart.
There's always love in our heart.
A love for them to date.
I know the songs on this album in terms of the matters of affairs of the heart are kind of sketchy, because there's Love Gone Cold, there's Girl, Why Don't You Answer to Your Name, and there is Styling. So those three songs dealing with the whole love idea is representing a time in my life, you know? So moving forward now, we're going to go into some more positive love songs.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad are very supportive of what I do. Actually, in school, when I dropped out of school and said I wanted to do music and I wanted her to manage me, I guess she didn't think I was that good until she like heard some material, and she was like, okay, you know, you have a skill. And then she was like, okay, if you really want to do this, then you're gonna have to put everything in it. We're very I don't say liberal is the word, but very free with our children, and making them do what they follow their heart and their instinct. The term revival actually came from a friend of mine, Dottie Bookman, who was fascinated with the Harlem Renaissance of the 20s and 30s in New York. And he was like, he can go and research the Harlem Renaissance because there's a word that identifies it. And he was like, there needs to be something that can be identified by media all over the world. Like, he's very savvy like that, and he was like, the word he has is the revival. And that is how the whole term kind of even came up.
So
and then
Jesse and everybody else caught up afterwards.
I wouldn't say caught up. I mean, we just, like, they were just, everybody was doing. So like, we would go to a show and I saw Jesse Royal singing, and I was just, people were blown away. And then, you know, he's gonna, if people see like 5 people hanging out and you know our Chronics Kabak, whatever, it's just natural. Then we heard Jesse come up, and that too was the next person that you heard him the first time. And for Jesse, for me, it's more even about his presence on stage.
Yeah.
That's what drew me to Jesse more than anything, was that when I saw him on stage, I was like, yo, he's 100% committed to what he's doing on stage right now. He really believes, and the energy, you know, exudes from him. So it's just a natural thing, and for us, it's like not about anybody trying to be the man, but knowing that everybody's gonna get a chance where they have the spotlight on them. And then when you do that, you just bounce it off to each other, and then everybody grow and everybody happy. I don't want to be the only one happy. I want to see everybody happy.
It's a team effort, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's like it's happening all over. If you check hip hop, you check guys like Joey coming up, bringing a level of consciousness. You know, rapper talking about Christ consciousness and that type of stuff. Like you see it happening, you see music popping up from Africa, you see it coming from Europe. Like everywhere, I think there's a level of consciousness in the music right now. And just not even in the music, just people. All of a sudden, like something like yoga is widespread in Jamaica. You wouldn't see that like 3 years ago. You know, people like all of a sudden it's cool to be vegan and to be eating, you know, like that. So it's like everything kind of, it's a cycle, I think, still, and the music is just playing a part in it. I started to read Walter Rodney, which got me to Marcus Garvey, which got me to His Majesty. And then when it reached to His Majesty, you know, it really started to change what I wanted to do in music. Like, first of all, I just wanted to make good music. That was it, like just good quality music, you know, good production, good songwriting. When I started to get more into the teachings, the philosophy of His Majesty, it was more about, okay, can there be a deeper purpose within the music? Can I talk about certain things? That's why in the last verse of The Flame, when I say I'd rather be spiritually attained than critically acclaimed, put that on your brain, systematically drained. Never that them saying, no, I could never match my pain, could never know my strain. They must study when me sing, me I sit and do my thing. Application, him, supplication is to Him. Then it becomes less about the tune them was spin, but knowing that the work was the best it could have been. That's a thing what His Majesty always says, not about the accolades that you're gonna get from all of this. It's the knowing that within yourself that you put your best effort forward. So the teachings of His Majesty is what is the main thing for me that gets me, keeps me grounded, or I try to use to keep me grounded, because I know that certain things don't really matter. So His Majesty for me is more of a spiritual, philosophical thing than a religious thing for me.
That's it.